This isn't just the easiest dessert on earth, it's also the most delicious. You need to know how to make apple cranberry crisp. Hey, I'm Tansey. I believe everyone can cook, and I'm here to share my go-to recipes that will make your cooking that much easier, more fun, and more delicious. Today, I'm making an apple cranberry crisp. It's a classic, simple dessert, but when you actually taste it, the flavors are just out of this world. The ingredients are a bit of flour, brown sugar, and butter for the topping, and then just some apples and cranberries for the filling. I'm gonna start by making the topping. Now this is apple crisp, not apple crumble. In a crumble, there would be oats. So in a crisp topping, it's just butter, brown sugar, and flour, which leads to this incredibly crispy caramelized topping. It's out of this world. So it takes about a half a cup of just regular all-purpose flour and 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar. And just stir that around a little bit till it's nicely combined. Okay. Now for the genius trick of adding the butter. I've got half a cup of butter here and it's really, really cold. Normally when you make a crisp, you sort of have to work it into the brown sugar mixture with your fingers, but if you just use your handy dandy cheese grater, it's so much easier and faster. Check it out. All those little pieces of butter just come out and I can mix them in to the dry stuff. To make this work, the butter has to be really cold, so definitely right out of the fridge or even out of the freezer is fine. I'll just use my fingers to kind of toss the butter in with the sugar and flour. So now I'm gonna work on the filling. Couldn't be easier, it's just apples and dried cranberries. I'm going to bake this right in a pie plate. You can bake apple crisp in almost any shape of baking dish that you have. Small, big, a deep, shallow. As long as it's full of apples and you have enough topping to cover it all, then you're good to go. But a pie plate is a good standard. And I have 6 apples here. I'm gonna say 6-ish because like this one's tiny, this one's huge. You sort of just make it work. You would want about 6 medium apples. And this is a collection of apples from the back of the crisper. I can't remember when I bought most of these. Perfect for apple crisp. It's the greatest way to use up leftover random apples. So all I want to do is peel these apples and slice them and then put them directly into the pie plate. You don't even have to grease it. There's plenty of butter in the topping, don't worry. Now I'm going to slice up the apples. And I'm actually just going to slice them right into the pie plate. Not too thick. Not too thin. Oh, those are very different. That doesn't matter. It'll all work itself out in the oven. Oh, everybody back in. Now I'm gonna add the cranberries. So I've got 1/3 of a cup of dried cranberries here. And they do something kind of magical inside this dessert. Not only do they add that kind of beautiful color, nice little bit of tartness, but they soak up some of the moisture from the apples and make the whole dessert just a little bit, I don't know, kind of more yummy and gooey all together. Mash that into a bit of an even layer. Good. Now for the topping. Now I'm going to just sprinkle the whole topping evenly across the top. Ooh. And just sort of spread it out right to the edges. There we go. Nice. If there are any big clumps of butter, just break them up just a little bit. It's not really a big deal, but just break them up a little bit. All right, I'm gonna cook this right on a baking sheet. And it's gonna take about 45 minutes. Look at that bubbly caramelized crust. Warning, do not eat this right away. You will burn your mouth off like crazy. This has cooled for about 10 minutes. That's good. You can really serve it warm, but don't serve it hot. It's just gonna be way too hot on the inside of your mouth. You can see how beautifully crispy this is. Oh, it's just like putting caramel sauce over apples. It is so delicious. I'm gonna serve this and put a little bit of cream or ice cream on top of it, just, you know, to gild the lily that little bit. Let's take a look. Whoa. It's actually still pretty nuclear. You know, I'd say that's almost a little bit too hot for ice cream. Maybe I'll just have some on its own. So there you have it, a beautiful, delicious 5-ingredient dessert that could not be easier. And you can even use your old apples. It'll still be just as delicious. For the full recipe, click in the link below. And if you love baking, try these recipes as well. Make sure you're subscribed and hit that bell because I've got some amazing, easy, comfort food baking favorites coming up too. Hey, life is complicated. Cooking shouldn't be. Happy cooking. Ah.